Okay, everyone, welcome to week 2 of class. I really love this week. We do some really fun projects. And before we dive into what we're going to be doing, I want to touch on a couple of things. I did just send out an announcement to the class about the week 1 work. Many of you are still missing your week 1 work. And many of you emailed me last night asking for extensions because you don't have your books yet. Now, I will be your biggest cheerleader, your biggest advocate in this class. I like this class to be fun. I like to keep it very lighthearted, but we're going to have a little heart-to-heart moment right now. These classes are short. They're 8 weeks long, which means that you need to come on day 1 prepared for class. So I'm not quite sure why so many of you waited till the last minute to order your supplies, seeing as the class was available to you a month ago. And I sent out an announcement a month ago, and in that, we talked about looking at the syllabus, getting your supplies. So I'm having grace this week, and I have extended the due date for your week 1 work to this Wednesday, the 15th of the month, at midnight. So this is Wednesday at midnight to get that work in. I also, in your week 1 learning activities, under that create assignment, I have included a scanned file of the week 1 workbook activities. So those of you who don't have your books yet, you can jump in and get those done. This is a one-time thing. It's not something I'm really supposed to do, be giving you all those materials. That would kind of be not great if I was just giving it to you all for free when this is, from a book and we're using this for a class. So I did it this one time for you. But I will not be so graceful in the future if you don't have your supplies, etc. You guys have known about this for a while. So that's my little bit of tough love. Again, I'm here to help you guys, but let me know, communicate with me, be ready, in the future when you're taking these ops classes, be ready day 1. I remember being in college and thinking, oh, I'm not going to get these books until I absolutely know I need them. I'm not going to spend the money. You need them in these classes. You need these books, especially when we're in an online class. We rely a lot on our materials to help you through the class. So don't skimp here. Okay, that being said, there also were several of you who just didn't submit work last night and didn't email me. Let me know what's going on. If I don't get work throughout the week, I'll start submitting retention alerts for you. Basically, there's no participation yet in the class, and that's going to alert the administration counseling that, hey, there's something going on, you're not getting your work in, and they're going to contact you. So just communicate with me. That's all I'm asking, because if you don't, then I have to communicate with them that there's a problem, okay? Mean Emily gone. Let's get on to the fun stuff. So this week, in our reading, we are doing chapters 3 and 4. So this is really interesting. I love chapter 3 and 4 of this book because it's really digging into that idea of the left brain and right brain and crossing over onto that right brain. She gives you some really cool tips and tricks to do that. This is going to be really helpful. Don't skip this reading this week, you guys. I think this is kind of like an aha light bulb moment for a lot of students. So enjoy that reading there. We have our first week of sketchbook activities. And so you have to complete 10 sketches for the week. These are quick drawings. They shouldn't take more than about 15 minutes or so. So just throughout the week, on your lunch break or, whenever, there may be a couple days where you'll have to do these twice to get those 10 in. And we have a theme. Our theme this week is geometry. So are you the type of person when you kind of sketch and doodle, do you do swirling shapes or do you do things more linear and geometric? So we're going to focus on things that are geometric in nature this thing. So think squares, spheres, triangles, cylinders. You could even, if you want, set up some blocks or some different shapes, boxes, things in your kitchen that are geometrically shaped. Set them up right next to you on your table and just look at them and sketch them. So pay attention to how larger forms like a chair or a car are broken down into smaller geometric shapes. So start using your eyes and breaking things down out in the world. So we're just starting to shift the way we're seeing and thinking. Look at shading. Look at where shadows fall. You can see on this box that there's clearly a light source coming from this direction, which we know that when that happens, it's going to cast a shadow on the back because there's no light hitting this back side, right? So that's why this side is so bright, this side is so dark, and it's casting a shadow. So start paying attention to shadows and the highlights, because we really are going to do a lot of work with those throughout this class, and it's good to start now. So this is in your sketchbook. This isn't like one small little square on a page and call it a day. I want you to kind of fill that page, and that's your sketchbook that's one page of sketches, okay? So submission instructions are the same as what we went over last week. You're going to either photograph or scan these. And these assignments are done as a journal entry. So when you click on your journal entry, you'll just hit create journal entry here. And you can title it, let's see. Oops. Oh, let's see, can I type today? Sketchbook, not SketchUp, that's a different program I use. Sketchbook week 1. Okay, we can call it that. And then all you would need to do is embed your images. You don't even need to attach them. You can if you want. I prefer that you embed your images, and I'm going to show you how to do that right now. So this button right here that I'm hovering over that looks like a little picture of a mountain and a moon or a sun, this is your best friend when it comes to embedding. This is the embed button. So all we need to do is click on this button. This big screen is going to pop up. Excuse me, my internet is being a little bit slow today, which is surprising since we just upgraded our speed. Okay, so this window is going to pop up, so you can just hit Browse My Computer. And I've selected an image right from my desktop and attached it in that Browse My Computer icon, and here it is. So I just put this puppy sketch, right? The picture may be different sizes, so you can always go to appearance. If it's really, really large, I would say keep them probably around 500 or so in your dimensions. So you can see I just clicked on appearance. In dimensions, I want to keep that constrained proportions, and I can just change it. Yes, I'm sure I want to change it. And look, there we go. I have an image embedded right into my journal entry. So I can put either at the top or the bottom of this, you know, image 1. However you want to do it. We just want to make sure that we have 10 pages. You can also, what I would actually prefer you to do is on your sketchbook page, just right at the top, week 1, image 1, week 1, image 2, or, you know, just week 1, 1, week 1, 2, week 1, 3. And that way it's just right there on your image. And that's all you have to do. It's really quite simple. That way you don't have to attach a file. And when we open your journal, all those images will just pop right up, okay? So it won't be opening the journal and then having to download a separate file as well. And then you can just hit post entry, and it will post to your journal, okay? So that's how that works. So going back into your learning activities, and let's go ahead and move on. And I actually did here include a tutorial on how to use the text editor, and this includes instructions. It's a little video for you. Okay, our copy assignment this week, we're talking about conflicting spaces. So in your workbook, we're doing activities 5 and 6. So this is the vase face drawing. Now, I don't know why, every time I teach this class without fail, students will copy this onto another page and just draw half of the vase. This is one where you can go ahead and do it right in your workbook, right? Because it's giving you half of a vase. You're going to finish the other half. That's all we're doing, okay? You're basically feeling along, I think in the instructions, and I always encourage students to do this, feel along with your fingers, really get the sense of that shape that they've given you on that page. And then just draw the other side. So you don't need to do this on a separate page. I always will get this weird half vase drawing that someone will submit. So hopefully you guys don't do that this time. So you can do this in the workbook, or if you want to photocopy the page to preserve your workbook, which I actually kind of encourage you to do, because oftentimes I will tell students, go back and practice that vase face drawing again. Just practice it again and again. It's such a quick one to do as well. So it's one to just get that muscle memory, and it's helping us learn how to look at something and copy it and think about proportion and line, okay? In exercise 6, you must complete 2 of the 4 upside down drawings. So in the workbook, they give you 4 different examples. It's your choice. Choose 2 of them. So use paper from your 11 by 14 inch drawing pad and your viewfinders that you've drawn to create a frame the same size as the image in the exercise. So you're basically creating a nice frame on your big, nice drawing paper. And then you're going to be looking and copying, okay? And the reason, and I love these upside down drawings, is because it gets out of our head of thinking, I'm drawing a horse, I'm drawing a man. When you flip it upside down, you're not focusing on the content, you're focusing on the lines, you're focusing on relationships between spaces and objects, right? And that's what we want to really do here. We don't want to just get in our heads too much and think, oh, does this look like a person? We're just making sure we're copying those lines. And then when you flip it over, usually students are quite surprised. So same submission instructions here. I'm not going to go over these every week. Okay, moving on to our create assignment this week. This is a really cool one. This is a tessellations project. Now, I've included a link for you. So this link right here, what is a tessellation? And this is just a really cool little math form, and it's going to give you a definition. Basically, tessellation is tiling. That's what we're doing. We're tessellating, we're tiling shapes. And so it's going to give you a little bit of an explanation of what tessellations are all about. And then make sure that you download this PDF. So you're going to use all 3 methods that I give you in the instructions in this PDF, and this is the paper cut method, the line method, and the slice method. So this is 3 different ways that you can do tessellations, and you're going to do all 3. You're not just picking one, you're doing all 3. So one of your tessellations, it needs to be an animal. One is going to be in grayscale shading, and the other is going to be some kind of unique pattern. Let's go ahead and look at this PDF. Again, it's 3 tessellations, 3 unique methods. Set up your paper. So you want to use 3 sheets of paper for this assignment, and you're going to take that 11 by 14 inch piece of paper, and you're going to create a 9 by 12 inch drawing space. So make sure you write your name, assignment title, drawing method at the top of the page so I know which one is which. So here's an example of that. And then I've gone ahead and I've given you detailed instructions with images to each different method here. So I'm not going to go over these in full detail right now because they're right here, but if you have specific questions, let me know. In this paper cut method, don't just go ahead and copy the shape that I've given you in the instructions here. Come up with something different. Have fun with this. Be original, right? So this could be, one of your unique patterns. This one's a little rudimentary. I'd like to see you get a little more interesting with your pattern. Your line method. Now, you don't have to do these. Your paper cut method doesn't have to be your pattern, and your line method doesn't have to be your animal, and your slice method doesn't have to be your grayscale. You can do these however you want, whatever kind of ends up working for you. I think the line method kind of ends up lending itself for students to become the animal, just because it tends to be a little more organic with the way we create the shapes here. So read through these. I've tried to be as detailed as I can in these. Make sure that you are copying that shape exactly for each tessellation, each tile. For some reason, students will always do this where they will hand draw each one, and so they're slightly different, and that's not a proper tessellation. So for example, once you've in your line method, once you've created your shape, you want to cut that out so that you can actually then copy it exactly each time, so that you can see here with this seal or sea lion, it's the exact same shape repeated. It's not slightly different, it's exactly the same, okay? And that goes for each of these methods. And you can, do something like this where you create some kind of shaded pattern or this is a house, for example. It can be an object. It doesn't just have to be a miscellaneous shape. So I'm giving you examples here. So this is an example. This is a MC Escher. This is an animal, for example. This is a unique pattern. So you can see it's not just shapes just quickly colored in. They've given some thought and detail here. And then this is another MC Escher, this is an animal and a grayscale. So you're going to do one black and white, one that is an animal, and one that's a unique pattern. Now your black and white can also be an animal if you want. It's up to you. They could all be animals if you want them to, just as long as we're adhering to all three of those. Excuse me, it's Monday and my brain is a little foggy still. The other thing I want you to really think about here is when you're shading, when you're coloring in, experiment with those drawing materials that you have first. And you're welcome to use other things. If you want to use colored pencils, if you want to use paints or markers, you're more than welcome to. Just practice with them first. I don't want to see very sloppy coloring. I want to see nice blended soft shapes. So use those sides of the pencils if you're using them. Use your fingers to kind of smudge a little bit. Be really kind of consistent with your movements. And that's why I think it's really good to practice with your drawing materials first before you apply them to your final project. Okay, so we also have a critique this week. A lot going on this week. There's some of these things that are quite quick though, right? So the copy assignments shouldn't be taking you terribly long this week. This is where you're going to be spending most of your time on your create assignment. Your sketchbooks are just a little bit each day, and this critique shouldn't take you more than 20 minutes. So this is done as a blog, and we're going to do these every other week. And you're going to critique your own work as well as the work of your peers. And keyword is critique, not criticize, right? So you're going to include your workbook exercise 1 from week 1, and then your favorite of the 3 tessellations in your blog entry. You're going to embed them, just like we talked about a few minutes ago with the journal entries on how to embed those images. And then you're going to write a very brief critique, 1 to 2 sentences for each of these bullet points about these assignments. So what was the hardest part about your self-portrait? What's your greatest strength? And one thing you think you need to improve upon in the self-portrait? Which tessellation is your favorite and why? What do you think is the greatest strength in your tessellation drawings? And which technique was the hardest for you and why? So we're going to share. We're going to relate to each other. And then find 1 or more of your peers to comment on. You need to comment on at least 1 peer's work to get full credit on these assignments, because that's the point, is that we're interacting. Okay, so what was their greatest strength that you can see? What do you like about their project? And what's one aspect of their drawing that you think they could improve upon? Maybe it's cleanliness, maybe it's line quality, maybe they should have used a different material. You could recommend that, hey, you know what, if you had used fine point markers instead of colored pencils, this may have been more effective, whatever it might be. So just be positive and be encouraging, okay? And be constructive as well. So you don't need to include any attachments, right? You're just going to use the text editor here for your responses, and you're going to embed those images right into those blog entries so that we don't have to download everyone's work to look at it. We can just pull it up and there it is. Okay, so critiques. Create tessellation projects. Your conflicting spaces, so those vase-face drawings, which should take only a few minutes, and those upside-down drawings will take a little bit longer, but this shouldn't be over an hour and a half tops for this assignment. So sometimes it's better to just go for it and do it, and don't overthink it too much. Just have a little faith in yourself and go into it with that kind of positive go-getter attitude. And then you've got your sketchbook this week. So a lot of drawing. I told you we're going to be doing a lot of drawing in this class. Questions at any of these assignments, let me know. Don't wait till Sunday night at 10 p.m. your time when I'm already clearly in bed, since it will be midnight my time. Say, hey, I'm struggling with the tessellations project. I'm not sure about this method. don't do that. Give yourself some time. Give me some time to actually get back to you, and have a great week.